This afternoon, over 2 million Ghanaian SIM card owners are facing a possible deactivation in the next 24 hours owing to no fault of theirs. Well, the September 30th deadline for SIM card re-registration expires, as we do know, in a few hours from now. And Johnny is obviously learning that some Ghanaians have been left stranded at some of the registration centers as they make one final attempt to get their SIM cards linked to the Ghana cards. The national identification card and access to it is remaining a major challenge, as the Executive Secretary for the National Identification Authority, Professor Ken Atifwa, is indicating that there's absolutely no way the National Identification Authority and his team on the grounds will be able to meet the deadline for the SIM card registration. He is, in fact, open to any more ideas that will make access to the Ghana card more efficient. Listen.
We have done all that is reasonably necessary and appropriate, given our financial, logistical, and technical constraints, to serve the people of this country and to do so well. So, yes, it breaks my heart to see people at our offices. It breaks my heart to hear of the corruption, the extortion of monies by NIA staff. And there is credence to that. Some of them have been arrested, prosecuted, some people have been jailed, and some have been interdicted, and all kinds of processes are going on that I say I'll share with you. It may be minuscule, the numbers may be negligible, but the fact of the matter is that some of it is happening. We have to change the whole office, the personnel in the whole office, replace them and interdict them, all of that. So there are real challenges by a small number of our people, but it is happening nonetheless. And if you are one person who has not had your card, and you have made strenuous efforts, as some have done, it is painful. But we will welcome any suggestions that will help us improve, either on our service delivery or the opportunities. Remember, we operate within budgetary constraints. We operate with people who have been trained, who have worked around the country, who have speed, dexterity, and competence. You can't just take anybody and say, go and issue cards. You can't just increase the numbers. Within this context, if you have some suggestions, we will welcome them, sir. But as for we and our household, as for us and our household, we shall continue to serve the Lord.
And definitely we'll be checking out the situations at some of the registration centers for you shortly. But let me bring in at this moment some more reactions greeting this deadline that's becoming imminent. Charles Kwesi Addo is spokesperson for the Mobile Money Agents Association. In fact, we are also being joined via Zoom this afternoon. Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, his Deputy Minority Chief Whip, and also a member of the Communications Committee in Parliament. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time here on the polls. I'll start off with you, Charles, as we, of course, await that reaction from Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. The issue about the proposal you made earlier on decentralizing the registration process, even as the deadline inches closer. What has been the level of engagement between your group and the Ministry of Communication in that regard? Charles, I'm asking what has been the level of engagement between your group and the Communications Ministry ever since.
Thank you, Kofi, and good afternoon to you, everyone. I must say that there has never been any engagement on the part of the Ministry of Communication. And as I speak with you, most Ghanaians are frustrated with the NIA card issue. And I will tell you, in the next 24 hours, should there be any blockade of SIM, then it is not on the part of Ghanaians. Initially, we thought it was that most people were trying to be recalcitrant. But looking at the situation on the ground, as the Professor Atifa himself said, you realize that this is of no fault of Ghanaians. And therefore, the Ministry of Communication, which is being headed by the Honorable Minister, should make sure that they streamline processes in order to absorb those Ghanaians who don't have the Ghana card, in order to aid them through the temporary registration. So for us as agents body, we want to say emphatically that there should be an extension until the other agencies, which also belong to the government, have not done their part. People need to give the chance to have their card for the registration as well.
Well, you had made some proposals earlier, asking, for instance, for the registration process to be decentralized. At least I recall that was part of the demands you're making. How would that be urgently necessary now, given the fact that a lot more people are still unable to register their SIM cards?
Okay, the difficulty here is, should we even decentralize the whole process, as I stated earlier? People still go to these offices and their cards are not solving issues to them. So the challenge here is we should rather tackle the issue of the issuance of the card on the part of the NI. Even the decentralization, as the Professor Sifa did absorb in most across the country, people are in their various regional and district offices. The issuance of the card has become the issue. We were made to understand that there are shortage of cards, and therefore, when you go there, they will tell you, come today. They will just give you 20 excuses. That will frustrate you. And in the end of the day, you have no option than to just relax. So for the betterment of the issuance of the card, I think if the NIA lacks resources in terms of finance, the government should make sure he reimburses them so that they will get the equipment in order to aid the printing of the card. There was a lady I spoke to last week at the Airwax Sports Stadium. And she stated emphatically that she did the registration in 2018, over 4 years now, Kofi. And it is of no fault. When she goes there, they will just tell her that go to this center, go to that center. And as we speak now, there is nothing to prove that she can't. She's even made to believe that she has to go and re-register again. So the process is so cumbersome that most Ghanaians are frustrated. So if the government is going to block most people their SIM card without them having the Ghana card, then what is the sense in it? Because an agent of the same government is making it so difficult for people to just...
Right. In fact, interesting points you're raising there. And Charles, I'll come back to you shortly. Let's also bring through the Honourable Ahmed Ibrahim, who's also joining us on this. He's a member of the Communications Committee in Parliament. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. So here we are today, 24 hours to the deadline, and government is not making clear what its stance will be as to whether or not indeed all of these cards will be deactivated. We're getting clear indications that, for instance, close to 2 million people face deactivation owing to no fault of theirs. It's simply because the National Identification Authority is not able to meet the deadline. Professor Ken Atefua tells us that clearly they are outweighed by the numbers, and September 30th would clearly not be possible for all these persons to have their cards. What's your reaction, knowing that, of course, Minority has been engaging extensively on this matter? You'd have to, first of all, unmute for me, Honourable, so I can get the point you're making.
Begin with, let me say, a very good afternoon to your cherished viewers. As a matter of fact, governance is for the good of the people. And we have been given the mandate to govern the people and to make life comfortable for them. But I look as if Ghanaians are not reaping the dividends of democracy or participatory democracy, simply because we are ruling Ghanaians as if we came to power on our own. How can you punish Ghanaians for sins they themselves have not committed, or for things they have no control over? If you listen to the NIA itself, they came to Parliament and said network coverage is their major problem. Then the second major problem is funding. From that time up to now, government has not provided the needed resource to them. This is the time that the IM negotiating team are in the country. The finance minister is asking of social cohesion. And then there's a chaos being deliberately spearheaded by the actions and inactions of government, department, and agencies. So clearly, if you are asking me whether there should be extension of the deadline or what should be done, government knows what to be done. The numbers that the National Statistical Council is bringing out, the numbers that the NIA itself is working with, are numbers that are based on provision and assumptions. They are not even the real numbers. If they are overwhelmed by the numbers, then what do you think that should be done? You need not to be told that there need to be an extension. The Bank of Ghana has even come out to now threaten people that those who are owing the Momo agents, who are owing on their cars or who are owing the telcos on their cars, should make sure that they go to pay. Do you think that it is their will or their wish not to pay? And do you think that if somebody owns these telcos and you go ahead to block the numbers, then who suffers? So clearly, I don't see the head or tail of the agency in blocking people's cars. And if you go to the rural Ghana or the periphery, you realize that from the day the National Identification Authority came to Parliament today, nothing new has happened. The numbers that they claim they are working with, they have about 800 cars that have not been distributed. And if you look at the ages of their registration, they are expecting to register about 19 million people who will be eligible to be able to possess those Ghana cards. You may be up to 18 years before you can vote, but you must not be up to 18 years before you can own a mobile phone. So clearly the numbers may even be more than even 20 million. So as a matter of fact, I think the Minister for Communication must listen to Ghanaians for once and must put herself in the shoes of Ghanaians. We cannot be serving Ghana as if we are serving only the interests of the elite. You came to Parliament to register the social class. We, those in Parliament. You went to the former president, you went to the big men and also to be their houses. The ordinary Ghanaian has come to your office to sleep there for 3 days. He's not been able to secure the card.
Yeah, but I guess you would want to be fair to the honourable minister when she says the NIA, the institution responsible for issuing the Ghana cards, has absolutely nothing to do with the communications ministry. That's out of jurisdiction for her. She's also been faced with this legal impediment of just successfully rolling out the re-registration exercise. So if you were to be in the minister's shoes right now, how would you deal with that?
The minister is a cabinet minister with the Minister for Interior. The NIA is under the Minister of Interior. The communication and the network provision is under the Minister of Communication. Parliament approved a loan of over $170 million given to the Minister for Communication to go and provide network coverage to rural Ghana, to provide about 2,016 telecom masts. It has been that was 2018. We are in 2022. For 4 years now, the Minister for Communication, Eslaosu, has failed in using the money to provide the network coverage to rural Ghana. So if the National Identification Authority is unable to have internet facility in rural Ghana, who is the cause? The Minister for Communication should have used the loan that Parliament approved for him to make sure that she provides 2,016 telecom mats in all the areas of Ghana. She should have used the money to provide network coverage. Then that would have facilitated the work of the Minister of Interior via the NIA to make sure that now that there's network, they can now print the cards for Ghanaians. So government works, there must be interoperability. So you can't say that you are acting exclusively independent of the Minister of Interior. That is not how governance works. That is why the Constitution said that there must be 19 ministers of cabinet to assist the president in delivery. So you can't say that I'm in charge of this. I don't care what happens to National Communication Authority. I'm going ahead to block telcos. Have you considered that the telecom sector is not as lucrative as it used to be before the coming into government of Nana Akufo-Addo president? Now Airtel Tigo is gone. Now the Indians have run away. The Vodafone people are also running away. It's like the kind of frustration that the telecom landscape is encountering is too much. And the earlier we spoke to the Minister for Communication to hasten slowly, the better. Because communication now is a national security asset. You can't say you are blocking SIM cards just without you performing that aspect of providing network coverage to facilitate the work of the National Communication Identification Authority. There must be that telepathy between Communication Ministry, Interior Ministry, and Finance Ministry. By so doing, they will be able to do the extension of the network. They will be able to release funding to the National Identification Authority. They will be able to print the cards. Then after that, now that you have given the cards to every Ghanaian, you can now say that those who have not connected their SIM cards to their mobile phones, to their Ghana card, are doing that deliberately. Therefore, I'm going ahead to block people. Until then, it will be wrong for the Minister for Communication to go ahead and block people's SIM card. It's a national security issue, and it can destabilize this country by making sure that there's no social cohesion.
We'll explore the implications for national security shortly. We'll do that shortly, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. I also need to indicate that very shortly we'll be taking you across the country, and also, first of all, starting off in Accra and getting some feeds for you as to some of the people who have been going through the process. We'll get all of that shortly for you. But Honorable Ibrahim, the point about national security which you're bringing in now is something that we've not been looking at in terms of the whole conversation. How will this affect the stability of the country in your view?
Do you remember the 2-day blockade of people's SIM cards? The National Security Ministry has to go to the presidency to talk to them that the country was about to be stabilized before the SIM cards were relieved. They will not go ahead to tell you this. But that was practical situation that happened. Ghanaians were furious and they nearly exploded. So it's like we all know what happened. And the Minister for Communication is not oblivious of this. So if I say it's a national security issue, I'm just referring to the 2-day blockade, that practical blockade that we had. The kind of exacerbation that happened in this country, how people were angry, the kind of stampede, and how people were about to explode. This is what led to the Minister for National Security to go to the president and advise that no, the thing was about getting out of hand before they reverted back on blocking people's SIM cards. So they know the practicalities of it. Put that one aside. It's a medical issue. You know, we are in the era of telemedicine. Doctors are using their phones in prescribing medicine for people and medication for people. Put that one aside. The police and the interior and the security people are all using their mobile phones, not only by their individual self, but by making sure that they provide vital information in trapping criminals and all those things. So there are a lot of things that people are using their mobile phone for. Mobile phones have moved from the era of luxury to the era of necessity. And therefore, the minister should not be oblivious of this. Your inability to provide even 2,000, you Minister for Communication, that we use the taxpayers' money to go for a loan, millions of dollars given to you in 2018 to provide internet coverage to the whole Ghana. You have been unable to do that. Then you are saying that if people don't connect their phones to their Ghana card that they don't have, you are going ahead to block them. Should you extend your incompetency in punishing Ghanaians because you are incompetent?
I guess when the issue of competence comes up, you in the minority will also be questioned. That the fact that you're not able to deploy any means to try and call the minister and government to order. What have you been doing ever since? And of course, you are in the leadership when it comes to the minority. What have you done practically to draw the attention of government to this and to try and bring some order?
The matter of competency in terms of Parliament went ahead. You know, the matter of rolling this Ghana card issue is in 3 areas. The Ministry of Communication is using it to block people's SIM card. The Electoral Commission is using the same Ghana card to register people. The Ministry of Finance through Bank of Ghana is using that one to block people's savings. So it's like we are fighting from 3 areas. The minority, we invited the Ghana card people to come and let us know their challenges. We invited the Electoral Commission to come and let us know their challenges. We told both of them that they should go. We will re-invite them after we have written our report. The Communication Ministry, this is the Communication, Minority in Communication, also organized a press conference to churn out with the frustration of Ghanaians and all those things. We even visited the National Identification Authority offices to get a physical first-hand information on what is happening. So there are a lot that we are doing. And the deputy ranking, together with a number of people, have also, because Parliament is on recess, have also resorted to the court to make sure that there's an injunction on this SIM card blockade. So as a minority, there's a lot that we are doing. But you all know Parliament is on recess. As I speak to you, we are in our various constituencies making sure that we are doing our vetting for branches and all those things. So there is much happening. The government itself too is saying that, he needs a national social cohesion. Therefore, we must all come back and think of the economy. And economic issues and social issues are not inseparable. Economic issues are tied to social issues. If we are not able to handle this SIM card registration very well, it may lead to social chaos and the social cohesion that we need to rally in these difficult times together as a country. We may not have it. So there's much that we are doing. We are not sleeping on our job. And I believe our good job is going to yield results. There is no way the minister, if he's a Democrat, there's no way he will go ahead to say he's blocking people's SIM card tomorrow.
What do we lay the blame squarely at? Should it be at the doorsteps of the Ghana National Identification Authority, or should we be focusing on the Ministry of Communication as you've been doing ever since? Because the belief is the sole piece of document we need now that will, deal with that hurdle is the Ghana card. So why not turn the heat on the Interior Ministry and those supervising the issuance of the Ghana card process?
The Ghana card itself suffered a lot before being relocated to the Ministry of Interior. At first, it was under the office of the president. From there, it went to the office Ministry of Finance. From there, it has come to the Ministry of Interior. So the Minister of Interior is now going to use their own budget to make sure that they are able to deliver. But if you want, I'm not interested in shifting blame. But if you want to tackle this, some of the issues are multidimensional. And I've pointed out to you that Parliament, the money, the over $100 million that we gave to the Minister of Communication to go and solve the problem of network connectivity. If the Minister of Communication has done that, I think we wouldn't be at where we are. And if this happened 4 years ago, if that same money was given to the National Identification Authority, they might have gone far. But here is the case. They presented their budget, NIA presented their budget of 320 million to the Minister for Finance. The Minister for Finance said he cannot provide 320 million. He could only provide 180 million. Based on that, the NIA is saying that until they are giving the 180 million, 320 million, it will be wrong for any government department or agency to go ahead to say that he's using the Ghana card for social or economic or electoral activities. This is in the report that NIA, National Education Authority, provided to MPs in Parliament, where Esla also, who is the Minister for Communication herself, was seated. So clearly, if you are asking of the blame, the NIA need the money. The finance minister say, we can't give you the money. Then the IMA says, the National Education Authority says, if you don't give me this money, then it will be wrong for you to go ahead to use my card as the mandatory or the sole document for delivery of socio-economic and electoral activities. So until that money is given to NIA, I can't blame NIA. What I can blame is I can blame the communication ministry because we gave them loan and they have failed to provide the 2016 network telecom mass connectivity. Yes. I can also blame the Minister of Finance for not funding the NIA with the 320 million Ghana cedis to be able to roll out and print the Ghana card for every Ghanaian. But for the NIA itself, they were frank with us in Parliament, but they told us that until this money, our budget is given to us, it will be wrong for anybody to go ahead. And it is in a written report that they presented to us in Parliament. So I don't know whether the Minister for Communication takes delight in punishing Ghanaians for voting for them as a government. So This is what I can say if you ask me of where to shake.
I see you're bringing in the political angle. I will get to that because your party has also been raising concerns about the reliance on the Ghana card and how it's related to elections 2024. We'll delve into that shortly. But let's clear the issue of the SIM card registration first. So, Honorable Ibrahim, just hold on for me briefly. Charles Kwesiado, I'll also come to you. But let's speak to Mona Lisa Frimpong in the Ashanti region. She's been monitoring the exercise so far. Mona Lisa, what can you report?
Okay, pleasant. Good afternoon. Well, I'm at the MTN Service Center at the Sanso in Kumasi. I came to find quite a long queue here, and I've spoken to some customers, and I've asked them why they waited for quite a long time before they came to register their SIMs a day before the deadline. And some said their SIM registration process wasn't complete. And others say there were network issues, so they were told by the telco staff to come some other time. And some gave up completely and turned up today with the hopes of getting registered. But this afternoon, I passed by and I've seen that the queue has quite reduced, but I found out from them that most of them have gone home because they say the queue wasn't moving. And the staff have refused to communicate anything to them. I tried to make inquiries from some of the staff, but I wasn't allowed. So that's what I can report for now.
You get the sense that all of the people you see in the queue right now may be able to go through the process before the day even ends.
And please, I can't hear you.
I'm talking about the long queues you are referring to. Is there any hope or a sense that given the centers at which they are now, they'll be able to go through the process smoothly?
Well, I doubt they'll be able to go through the process because some have been here since 6 a.m. in the morning, even before the office was open, and they have still not been able to register. So I doubt. And then some say that the worst they can do is if they are not able to register, probably they will switch to other networks, so they will throw their SIM cards away.
Oh, that's what they're telling you?
Yes. Okay.
Interesting times ahead. But anyway, Mona Lisa, thank you for the updates from the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. Of course, we'll be getting you some live pictures of what's happening elsewhere. But let me bring in Charles Kwesiado. Honorable Ibrahim Ahmed is still with us. But Charles, let me start off with you first. The issue about the long queues we're still experiencing at the various centers. So how do we deal with this? The deadline, obviously, from indications we're getting from the minister, will still happen anyway. So we're waiting to see what then will happen. So how do we deal with those in the queue now? And some may even miss the opportunity.
Thank you, Kofi. I must say that we are businessmen, and as businessmen, our aim is to maximize profit. When the mobile money functionality has to do with to be able to earn much commission, and then combat the long queues that are there, and those people to have their re-registered. So as businessmen, we want to advise both political parties, the MPC or the NDC, that we are businessmen. They should make sure they do the needful. They should make sure that they make the process so soft that the ordinary Ghanaian, at the end of the day, will be able to go through this exercise smoothly. Secondly, as part of the National Executive Council of the Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana, we want to plead with the government of the day that he should not pay much heed to the 30th of September deadline. Because if he goes ahead and do that, it is going to affect not only the mobile money agents across the country, but the telcos itself is also going to have themselves to be blamed in terms of those people who have gone for, what do we call it, quick loans, as the Bank of Ghana issued a communique to that effect. That was yesterday. So there are lots of economic activities that is going to be brought to halt. The people are unable to be being transacted with an agent in the country, we are going to be affected. So we are just pleading. We should stop the blame game. We should be problem solvers. We should just go straight ahead and make sure we all bring put our shoulders to the wheel and walk push along. This exercise is a very good one. It will help agents across the country. Likewise, will it help the security agency as well. So we are pleading with the government as the National PRO of the Mobile Money Agents Association. I want to speak on behalf of my people and plead with the government of the day to have lineage with Ghanaians, to also retool the NIA by financing them, as the Honorable Member of Parliament stated, that they have not been given the full budgeted amount as it's supposed to be. So we are just pleading that the finance minister should also make sure he just finance those authorities, that we all have a very fruitful exercise going forward.
Charles Kwesiado, thank you. Let me bring in Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. The aspect about the politics of it. Your political party is raising issues, for instance, with the elections 2024, a reason for which you suspect the government is mounting pressure on more and more people to get the Ghana card, to get registered and to link their SIM cards with it as well. We've also heard from the likes of the former special prosecutor, Martin Amidu, make similar claims. Why are you suspicious of government when government is indeed telling us that data harmonization is key for development?
We are not disagreeing with government that data harmonization is key. But what we are saying is that if government is committed to making sure that government is interested in the use of Ghana card, government must rule out and finance the activities of Ghana card to make sure every Ghanaian has the Ghana card. Why is it that when we are doing electoral registration, Ghanaians don't, even though the Electoral Commission sometimes use limited days, we normally do not have a lot of challenges when it comes to that, simply because we budget for Electoral Commission and give Electoral Commission the needed resources to provide voters' ID card for eligible registrants for voting. So if you are going to use the Ghana card as eligible source material, mandatory eligible source material for registering, then let's resource the Ghana card people, just as we do with Electoral Commission. If you do that, then you'll be keeping faith with Ghanaians. But you can't be stifling the National Identification Authority people with funding and still insist that every Ghanaian must have it, knowing very well that by stifling the Electoral Commission, National Ghana card people with resources, they may not be able to register every Ghanaian. Meanwhile, you say that that's the only document you are going to use.
So how is this a political tool in the view? How is this a political tool in the view of the NDC?
We have resolved that until we are not going to make a law in anticipation that in future every Ghanaian will have a Ghana card, but we will make a law with the resolution that every Ghanaian has it. We wouldn't be part of, excuse me to say, this stupidity in saying that we assume that this will happen to us, so let's make a law today, waiting for it. What if the assumption doesn't hold? Then Ghanaians will say, oh, you were part of those who took that decision. We will not be part of that. So we will make sure that we convince ourselves that government make the necessary funding to the National Identification Authority people. Then by so doing, government will be keeping faith with Ghanaians. Then we know that once the funding is given to the NIA, you have this number of months to make sure that every Ghanaian who is capable or eligible to register has registered. When that is done, and we convince ourselves that this has been done, then you can make a law that now that every Ghanaian has it, it is mandatory. We have no problem with that. But to make laws based on assumption, no, we have sworn to defend the Constitution. The 1992 Constitution, Article 107, 1 and 2 is clear that we cannot make a law to change the decision of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court in the Abu Ramadan case made a ruling, the decision that the Electoral Commission can only make use of the Ghana card, can make use of the guarantor system, or can make use of the Ghana passport. And these three were the reason why we amended the CI 91 to make sure that CI 126 came. So once we made that law in conformity with the decision of the Supreme Court, we will not be part of any move to make sure that we make a law that will change or will vary the decision of the Supreme Court. And this is our position. And let the Electoral Commission not there, and let government not there. We are talking about social cohesion. This move will cause social instability, and government must take a cue from that.
So serious comments you're making there, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. Just hold on for me briefly. Let's get a picture of what's happening here in Accra itself. Elsewhere in Kumasi, we just heard that report by Mona Lisa Frimpong indicating that there's a very long queue. And it's happening across many centers in the Ashanti region. So let's see what's the situation here in the Greater Accra region. Michael Ashale has been checking that out for us. Let's see what he's found out.
September 30 for the SIM card registration exercise. And time is taken definitely for individuals like this who are currently at some of the telecommunication offices to re-register their SIM cards. But some of individuals like this tell me that they've been here for hours waiting for their turn to register their SIM cards. Many of them have been telling me about some of the challenges they've had to endure only to be here and again to be further delayed. For some of them, it will be difficult to meet the deadline, not forgetting that some of these shops close as early as 5 p.m. and all of these individuals will have to go home. Let me speak to some of them and find out how long they've been here, what have they been told, and what exactly is going to happen to them. Are they going to be able to register their SIM cards in the first place? Bossman, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I mean, how long have you been here?
Oh, more than 10 hours.
Wow, more than 10 hours?
Young boy, I quadruple for one and no more. You register about 1 hour, just 2 hours.
How is that possible?
I don't know. Go and ask them.
So for you, how does that make you feel that you've been here for 10 hours only to register your SIM card?
Yes.
But why are you now coming to register your SIM card? We've been registering cards for months now.
My Ghana card is ready. And then 3 days I'm calling my Ghana card. And I'm an channel.
Okay, so he tells me that his Ghana card was not ready. That is why he's only coming now hours to the end of the exercise now. But definitely how say watch our heart too much.
Oh, I have a pa. Some of them are Jumato. Some would think my Jumato and the other Nehame, and a minute. Some did. Now the old day, maybe try the old day or have made a medidi. And the Hame.
Jumana.
Oh, Metoniama or El Circle. Meton phone 1 year.
And we Jan Wabaha.
Jaba or Crobian, no, my babatana. The banana who croak check here.
Now, then I'm a catcher.
I won't come and tell you, know, she yet, yes, near Casasa, almost way. And will be free inside also, Baba Boy. And yes, you any the face soon was I could inside.
Why? So he's been telling me that he's been here for a very long time, obviously. But the frustrations got them talking. And again, you get management of this particular MTN shop that is in Circle. He says that some people from the shop came to confront them. I didn't know.
Yeah, Mammy be free inside Roba, say only security man because I know my back was one and Anka say, and one boy no buffy kiki.
No, Mammy, no way.
Oh, Mammy, no, she inside.
And Siciano say almost on the watching out, someone to my register. So you talk about 5 on my map on.
And Munganjo, the Mumunchum, no mangas among the liar, and to Muchum cry and Yajuma. And to Munchum. But I'm going to say 1 hour you could you Ghana card in Tamanka. Any I second Ghana card, Utimuka, last year, this year, having on Saka or any day. And Junior Samuka. So if the minister was here, what would he have told them? And to make them tear for say, or more moon cassim, no more my date to Kakranka, now you find register. And only empty about now, Minister Nanka say. Minister, as a minivia make catch them. If it's one gets a Ghana card, no qua, yet in net, a china, and net, Uber to a lot of first, and near that house, I was Sanka. A Jomo, and yes, Bia, your Ghana card and young Conquo, Yaquay by and Sanka. Oquay walking, Nipe Guono, or Pepe, but Obian Sanka. So, I mean, he's been telling me that the only reason it's coming at such a time is because of the delays in getting hold of his Ghana card. Probably, if the minister can reconsider and give them some more time so that individuals like him, by no fault of theirs, are now coming to register their SIM cards, they will be able to register, go through the exercise without getting their SIM cards deactivated. Bossman, how long have you been here?
I've been here around 11.
Since 11 in the morning?
Yeah.
What have they been telling you?
Well, they were saying there's network problem. They said network problem, yeah.
Network problem, that's what they've told you?
Yeah.
Are they going to, what time are they going to close though?
I actually don't know.
That would mean that you spent nearly half of your day here and still not able to register your SIM card?
Well, for me, I actually traveled down because of that. I'm not in the country. That is the reason why I came, and I have to make sure that I've got it right before returning back. So I'm waiting right after here. If I get it, I have to return back.
But definitely, it will be very frustrating for you that you only came here for this exercise, and now you have to be delayed for several hours with nothing really told to you.
Well, we are here. We are watching. It will take them about 30 minutes, and you'll see that the flow will be moving, and for 30 minutes it will be slowed down. So we can see actually that they have some challenges with the network. Yeah.
And that's not worrying for you?
My worry is I have to travel outside this country this evening, and I came because of this. So if they close and it's actually that they are closing the day tomorrow, then I think I've lost my number. That is what I'm praying, that I should be able to have my SIM registered before I leave.
I see. So I didn't get your name though.
My name?
Yes.
I'm Prophet Jerry.
Okay. Jerry, so what really are you going to do? Tomorrow is the last day for SIM card registration. You are traveling outside tonight. What are you going to do? I'm
praying to God if they can consider me to do it.
What will you tell the minister? And maybe she was here. Should she end the exercise tomorrow or extend it?
She should extend it. You should extend it. The minister, she knows me. She knows me. The vice president of Akawood Movies Association. We met her at Dansuman last time when she was campaigning. We do the campaign for her. So she should consider this. It's some of us, we are not in the country. We have to travel because of this. And today is the last day. I'm here since morning. You get?
Again, this is partly your fault. Why are you not coming?
Yeah, I'm also working there, you see. Asking permission or sort of. Outside is not like our own country.
I understand you, Jerry. Thank you very much. So let's speak to some more people on definitely the frustrations that they have to go through at the end of the day to be delayed for several hours trying to register their SIM cards. Boss, what's your name?
My name is Omar.
Kuma, how long have you been here?
Umar.
Roman, how long have you been here?
My name is Umar.
Omar. Okay, Omar, how long have you been here?
I was here right from, I think, let me see, 9:30 to 10 or about.
Yes, since 9:30 in the morning. I mean, how frustrating is it for you that you have to sit here for nearly 8 hours?
It's very frustrating because looking at the way the queue is moving, I think the office is having some challenges, which I believe if they can do something about it, because there are a lot of people behind me, you understand? And the people I met here, still there are people, some of them here, you understand? So like this gentleman, I came to meet him here, but all the same, we are all here. What we don't understand is that me, for instance, I have registered my line before, you understand? And when they were doing the blocking, they blocked the line. So I don't understand how come that happened. I passed through this process again. I've passed through this process already. So I'm now going through again for the second time. My question now is that why is this thing happening? Because we need to put all these kind of facilities around so that if maybe those who have registered before, they should have a specific people that will attend to them. But when you come here, they'll box you to everybody together, whether you are new or old or whatever, and it's not fair. Looking at the previous experience, I know I'm going through the same, so there is nothing I can do. Due to that, when we try to complain and find a solution to that, but it became an issue, you understand? But that is past already. What we want to do is to register our SIM line, and it's our right to do that. So if today, 29th, tomorrow, 30th, I'm not able to do it, it means I've lost my line. Must that be my fault? It's not my fault, because from onset, registration of SIM card, there is nothing like Ghana card. Though we want to have a quality and a good database and to strengthen our security. That is why we are doing this to but the whole thing is looking some way. So the authorities up there must up their game and, bring, already it's ongoing, because if you buy a new SIM now, you definitely need to use your Ghana card. So what happened with the existing numbers already? Are you trying to trash them out? You understand, yeah.
Very, very good questions that you are asking. So what would you say to the minister at this point in time? Do we go ahead and end the SIM card registration exercise and delete all the other numbers for the system?
I think doing that will create a very big problem, and these are artificial problems. We can correct them. We made the law as humans. We can as well correct the law. You understand? Why are we stressing ourselves 30th if you don't register? And most of us, Ghanaians, hand to mouth. If you don't go, you not eat. And those of us who are here today consider us that today we are not feeding home. Of course, time is money. If you don't go, you don't eat. So that is the challenges we are facing. So if she really thinks about us, the Ghanaians, and she knows she's there because of us, she should think about us first, not the problem. The problem should not be a priority than us.
Thank you very much for it. Let me speak to a few more people here that we can wrap up here. So you clearly can see how difficult and how long it takes for just one person to finish their registration. That's what they've been telling me so far is that the challenges with the system are becoming very frequent and fewer people are getting the opportunity to register their SIM cards. Let me speak to some of the ladies in the queue on how exactly this is going. Clearly, some of the confusion that also brings in the seating arrangement that is here. Let me try to find some of the women and see how long they have been here and how the process is going for them. Madam, good afternoon. How long have you been here? Best 7 and about.
Hey, my best chance no musi network ninye and a match mako Chrome and a master back. Me back afedi almost network no bibia movie and him the akoso and then my baha bear 3 times. My baha nay I can 3 times because me buy no almost say na me come head of headquarters on them. And almost member me buy me who Sadan some betna the same thing. And almost say young co na ditching afedi. Ya ba me who me maintain the whole thing no maintain.
This is almost a tremo because what my register be tremo.
Bra me friends a woman and the maba neck and 3 times. Wow, until my tremo me no she there say phone na me use so many problem. Because omo person me mamia me phone before saying thing say me omo say me you know so a problem because me register and sana me wedding what you say enti edinu asisa card edina me dem papa din na ya me card and na me say am kunu din enti say no na me say ko omo nhwema me na omo nyema me what you say but my boss meaning what is going on.
So you want them to cancel? What would you tell the minister if she was here?
What?
The minister, what would you tell her? Should she extend the deadline?
Oh, shaka yo hatasuri. Na omunya bibi mfa ho. Embuaye nkra. Embuaye. Ba ku na omuka omutwe mu ni say. Me adwuma na me ye no. Na adwuma na collapse. Efi say. Baby ana me hye no. Nipa no di nyoma ni free China abrami o frame sa wanyame enti na je say so di komo obi fufuro ti me size from
but on everything saying
me Elizabeth Baba Seidu.
Elizabeth, thank you very much for talking to us. So Elizabeth is one of many who has already suffered dark consequences of the earlier blockage, selective blockage, partial blockage again, of some of the SIM cards here. For many of these people, they're only praying that they get to meet the closing time of this company, else they'll have to go home and come back another day. Most of them are pleading to the minister responsible for communication, Nesla Owusu, to reconsider probably extending the time for the deadline. Other than that, for individuals like these who are interested in registering their SIM cards, they would have lost out. Their SIM cards will have to be blocked when the time comes up. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
We're not too sure if the sector minister herself is still in country, knowing that there's an ITU conference in Bucharest. We're still awaiting the outcome of a series of meetings that have happened this week. The Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim is still with us. So you've seen some of the concerns on the streets of Accra, and also in Kumasi we're getting reports that it's not different. So unfortunately for you, Parliament is not resumed from recess, so you're limited in terms of the action that you'd be able to take now. What's left for you in terms of the options for the minority in mounting pressure for some extension or at least a partial halt on the registration exercise?
Clearly, we don't take delight as a minority, we don't take delight in the inefficiencies of government anyway. But I believe if the party MPP as a party has the interests of Ghanaians at heart, this conversation that you've had with the Ghanaians citizenry queuing to register their SIM card alone, the party leadership should be looking for the whereabouts of the minister and be advising her as well. Beyond that, I think the deputy ranking with a number of MPs have taken this matter to the law court. And I believe our judges, if they listen to what has taken place, must also prioritize that case as well. And I believe these two scenarios will be able to put the minister on hold so that the tomorrow's deadline is not implemented. Other than that, I think we may not be able to hold the country together. Can you imagine the kind of frustration the businesswoman who spoke to you went through? That means I see form because of SIM card registration. This man died. So genuinely, there are people with genuine reasons of their inability not to be able to connect their SIM card with their Ghana card. And I believe as a country, if we really care about leading the people well, we must take the concern into consideration. So once the parliament comes on the 25th of next month, I believe the leadership of Parliament may be meeting next week, and I believe we must be able to put this matter to rest. We cannot be jeopardizing and experimenting with the life of the people we are leading. You said the minister is in ITU. She's in ITU with the taxpayers' money. The taxpayers who have sponsored your trip to outside are those who are crying now, and she must listen to them as well.
Obviously, there's the issue relating to the court cases. And talking about the court cases, we are getting a bit of some information coming through now that some persons who took earlier action against the National Identification Authority, and 9 of them have actually withdrawn simply because the NIA is providing clear details of where it is that they can collect their cards. And that feeds into the conversation as to the attitude of the Ghanaian. The belief is that, and we've heard Professor Kenatifwa complain about that some of the cards have been printed, and yet you want some Ghanaians who are asking for money just to come for their own cards. So it's not as though the NIA is completely inefficient. It appears that some Ghanaians simply don't want to go in for their cards as well.
Brother, you see, where you and I are, so we may trivialize some people's inability to afford even 10 Ghana cedis to bulk out from Sawan to Accra to come for their card. But there are genuine concerns. If you go to the periphery or rural Ghana, you see poverty with your naked eyes. So some of those issues, people's inability to even get lorry fare to come for their cars, let us not trivialize it. But I believe there are genuine concerns. People don't have it. But you remember that the people were talking about network connectivity? Whose responsibility is it to make sure that they provide good quality network? So clearly there are systemic failures and systemic inefficiencies. And these are matters the minister must address himself with and address. Until we address those challenges, we may be stretching the ordinary Ghanaians to a point where you can no longer stretch them. And that is where it becomes a national security issue. So I believe the leaders of the country, including we, those me speaking here, must take the interests of Ghanaians at heart. And I believe there are problems to be solved. There's poor quality of network. There's absence of network connectivity. There are lack of funds for NIA to be able to do their work. And government must prioritize all those things. The Minister of Interior itself must take interest in it because it's a national security issue as well.
Anyway, I would have to leave it here for now, but I'm so grateful that you've been able to spend some time with us this afternoon. That's the Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, Deputy Minority Chief Whip and MP for Panda. You're still watching The Pulse here on the Joy News channel. We'll return, we'll talk about the civil service and how there are accusations that government is piling up more and more party affiliates into the system. We'll assess the claims shortly. Please stay.